Good evening everyone and welcome to Gundam News. Usually a new month means a new Gunpla schedule, but for the first time in like forever, we've got a month without a single new retail Gunpla release. So instead, let's look at some Gunpla related news, and some Gunpla related news that nobody saw coming, myself included. Bandai is rebranding their plastic model kit division to Bandai Hobby, and alongside this rebranding, they're changing their logo. Again. And this time, I think they definitely made it worse because they did so much more than just changing the colors this time. It's supposed to be BH for Bandai Hobby, but that B really looks like a K. So it's like Kandai Hobby, the totally legit Bandai variant you can get at Kimu and AliExpress. All kidding aside then, somebody did pay money to get this logo changed. They also made a brand new brand, Bandai Tabletop Games. And look, they do know how to design a B. And of course, this new logo is tied to the big announcement that they made for Gundam Ensemble. The official website got a huge update, and they announced all of the sets that they will be releasing this year. So let's dig in. The first wave will be releasing in October, when the game finally officially launches. And to immediately start playing with a friend, you can choose between two sets, a $35 starter set or a $100 deluxe set. And the main difference between the two sets seems to be mostly the amount of figures that you're getting. The starter set will get you geared up for a simple 3 vs 3 game and comes with a selection of popular protagonist and antagonist mobile suits. So the idea seems to be to have the RX-78-2, the Wing Zero Custom and the Swallows version, and the Barbatos Rex on one side, and then Char Zaku 2, the Epion, and the Vidar on the other side. But I doubt anyone's gonna complain if you mix them up a little bit. The deluxe set, on the other hand, gets you ready for a more complex 5 vs 5 game, including a mothership for each side. And here, it is faction-based. It is the Earth Federation versus Zeon at the Battle of Abawa Ku. For the Federation, there's the RX-78-2 with twin bazookas, the gun cannon, the gun tank, a gym, 2 balls, and the wide base, whereas for Zeon, we're getting a Zaku 1, a Rigdom, a Zaku 2 mine layer, the Zeong, just the Zeong's head, 2 Augos, and a 3-turret Musai. So surprisingly, no standard Zaku 2 in this set. The things both sets then have more or less in common is a rulebook, 2 quick start guides, 1 for each player, a dice set, unit cards, tactical cards, terrain elements, 2 scenarios for the starter set, 1 scenario for the deluxe set, 1 map for the starter set, and 2 maps for the deluxe set. So again, both sets will basically get you equally ready to play, and when deciding which one to go for, I would mainly focus on 2 important things. Which mobile suits do you prefer, and do you think it's going to be important to have those motherships? Because I'm certain those will add some cool extra tactical elements that aren't present in the starter set. To further customize your army then, there's 2 expansion packs for $40 a piece and a painting pack retailing for $50. So for the expansion packs, you can choose between a Witch from Mercury expansion pack, which comes with the Ariel, the Daryl Balde, and the Feroct, or the Unicorn expansion pack, which comes with the Unicorn Destroy mode, Delta Plus, and a Totohachi mobile worker, which, isn't supposed to have any weapons, so I wonder how they're gonna be using it in the game. Is it gonna have really weak weapons, or will it have some kind of non-combat function like repairing your units, which I guess would make the most sense for a mobile worker. And what both sets have in common is that they come with 3 unit cards, 9 tactical cards, and tokens. The painting pack then is essentially the same as the expansion packs, but now also comes with paint and even a paintbrush. So included in this set is the RX-78-2 with beam rifle, the gun tank, the gun cannon, 3 unit cards, 9 tactical cards, a token, a paintbrush, Gundam Assemble Matte White, Gundam Assemble Matte Blue, Gundam Assemble Matte Yellow, and Gundam Assemble Matte Red. Just provide some gray and you're ready to start painting. On to November then for our second round of expansion packs. Here we're getting 2 expansion packs that again retail for $40 each and come with the same stuff inside. At the moment of recording, the mobile suits are still quote-unquote secret, but as you can see, it is very easy to tell what the mobile suits are. There's a Zeon expansion pack with the Goof, a single Magella attack and 2 Magella tops, and the Gundam Wing expansion pack with the Wing, the Dead Scythe, and the Heavy Arms. And then last but not least, we're wrapping up the year with another expansion pack, this time featuring the Tallgeese, a normal Leo with 105mm rifle, and a Space Leo with the Mega Beam Cannon, and the second deluxe set. But while the expansion pack keeps the price the same, $40, the second deluxe set is 170 buckaroos versus the only 100 buckaroos of the first deluxe set. And purely based on the description, what's included here seems to be almost identical. We again get 2 quick start guides, a rulebook, a set of dice, terrain pieces, 2 maps, a scenario objective card, tokens, tactical cards, and unit cards, but instead of 13 miniatures, we're now getting 14 miniatures. And another difference is how the included battle will play out. In the first deluxe set, it was Federation versus Zeon, with both sides being equal, 1 ship and 5 mobile suits each, but in Deluxe Set 2, it is Alliance versus Zaft, and it's gonna be an asymmetrical 3 versus 5 battle with only one side having a warship. So for the Alliance, we've got the Vanilla Strike, the Ale Strike, the Sword Strike, the Launcher Strike, Sky Grasper, Mobius Zero, and Archangel. And Zaft has the dual Assault Trout, the Buster, the Blitz, the Aegis, a Saigu, a Lego, and a Zono. And that's all of the initial sets that we'll be getting in October, November, and December. So not a bad lineup if I do say so myself. We've got a nice spread of series, a nice spread of sets, and what looks like a solid foundation. So I wonder if they're going to be able to keep up this release pace, and I also wonder what they're going to do about the warships. Are they going to keep it limited to just the most famous ones like the Wide Base or the Archangel, which we will be getting? Or will they also be releasing more grunt ships like the Salamis Kai, the Klopp class, or heck, even the Drake class? It might not be the best ship, in fact, might be one of the worst depending on which version you're looking at, but I do like the little bugger. But yeah, I'm afraid they are gonna stick to the most famous ones, but I can always dream. Also, with Bandai establishing the Bandai board game brand, you might have correctly guessed that they're not just going to be sticking to Gundam Assemble, and you would be correct, because alongside Gundam Assemble, they also announced a Pokemon game. I don't have the time to discuss it in this video, but in the future, it seems like we can definitely expect more licensed tabletop games from Bandai. And, you know, if we're gonna go that route, I wouldn't say no to a Votoms tabletop game, or maybe even a Dogram tabletop game. Definitely not expecting that to happen, but again, I can dream. But anyways, for more standard Gunpla then, you'll be able to get the Ganso SD Gundam World Versal Night Gundam from Premium Bandai. It's slated for an August release, it can be yours for 6,600 yen, 42 US, and it is a slightly better version of the older kit. The colors have been updated, and it got a brand new face part, which is a much sharper mold than the older one. But if you do prefer that retro look, it does still come with it, so you can choose. And you've also got 2 swords that you can choose between. And somewhat related to the Gunpla then, in July, we're getting the 4th volume of Gunpla package art Gummies. One pack will cost you 171 yen, a little over $1, and will come with a runner-shaped gummy and one of 33 metallic cards featuring Gunpla box art. The three main series are Hathaway's Flash, the Sorcery of Nymph Circe, Gundam Seed Destiny, and Char's Counterattack, with Double Zeta Gundam and Gundam X also being represented. Over at the figures then, we also got some limited stuff. The Metal Build Sword Strike and Launcher Strike Store Limited Edition, which as the name indicates are limited to the Tamashii Nation store, which is a part of Premium Bandai. Each striker pack goes for 11,000 yen, 70 US, and yes, these are confirmed to be the exact same figures as the ones released in 2020. The only difference is that the package now says that they're Tamashii store exclusives, so they still come with all of the same accessories, and they are compatible with both the Strike variants and the Astray variants. And those weren't the only re-releases that were announced this week. Re-releasing in June, we've got the 14th volume of Gundam Ensemble, consisting of the Wing Gundam, the Zeta Plus A1, Gundam H1 Normal, Titus and Sparrow parts for the H1, and another option set, which comes with parts for the Zeta Plus A1 to turn it into the C1, and more parts for the H1. There's effect parts for the Titus, and a statue of Flit. Also re-releasing in June is the Metal Build Strike Freedom Gundam Revival version for 35,000 yen, 223 US, which is an increase of 10,000 yen compared to the original 2015 version. And the only difference is that the package is now different and that it comes with an extra support, which they don't elaborate on. So it could be as grand as a brand new base, or it could just be an extra support arm for like the beam rifles when they're combined, which then attaches to the old base. Still, it is an incredibly impressive figure with a really cool inner frame, but damn if that ain't a massive price hike. At the very least, it is still a standard retail release, which you can get at standard hobby stores like Hobbling Japan, linked down below. But it wasn't all re-releases this week for the figures. We also got a remold. The Metal Robot Spirit Side MS Tallgeese was first teased a while back, but it now finally got officially and fully announced. It'll be releasing in August for 18,700 yen, 119 US, and I think it is safe to say that this is mostly a remold of the Tallgeese 2, but of course with different colors and a different head. So for the accessories, there's really no surprises here. We've got a shield, two beam sabers with beam saber blade effect parts, some really cool detailing on the thrusters, and a Dober gun with extension mechanism. And for maximum articulation, the feet also have an extension mechanism. By pulling them out, you can make a lot more dynamic poses. And just like the Tallgeese 2 before it, the Tallgeese 1 is Premium Bandai Limited. Because of course. Over at Hathaway's Flash then, things are going really good. As of February 27th, the Sorcery of Nymph Circe has grossed over 2.24 billion yen with over 1.34 million viewers, meaning that it has already exceeded the total earnings of the first Hathaway's Flash movie. Although it must of course be said that the first movie had a massive handicap due to a certain virus that was doing the rounds back then. But yeah, Circe is still going really strong, and for the people who want to watch it in the 6th week, they'll get a glow-in-the-dark sticker that says, "I watched Hathaway's Flash, the Sorcery of Nymph Circe." Or at least, that's what the people are getting who are watching the normal version of Circe in movie theaters. The movie will also be screened as a Dolby Cinema version with a different freebie, an A6 illustration card featuring the Zai Gundam, and rather than being a week-long thing, this card will be handed out for as long as supplies last. Or, for those who want to rewatch Char's Counterattack, from the 13th to the 15th, 10 Japanese cinemas will have a double feature with Circe and Char's Counterattack, and they released some really cool artwork for this event. Plus, they also released the key visual for the Hathaway's Flash The Sound of UC 105 event. What we also got this week were some surprise collaboration announcements. And the one that we know the least about is the Gundam X Hololive collaboration. They simply released a 5-second video showing a title screen and confirmed a Gundam booth at the Hololive Super Expo 2026. The expo is happening this weekend, and Gundam will be handing out special stickers there. For the second collaboration then, we move on to the gaming news, because starting March 10th, Gundam is having a collaboration with Apex Legends. So let's suit up and look at what the Apex players are getting. In terms of skins, we've got Crypto as the Freedom Gundam, Revenant as the Deadscythe Hell Endless Waltz version, Gibraltar as the Zai Gundam, Conduit as the Ariel, Mirage as the Destiny Gundam, Octane as the G-Quux, Alter as the Epion, and Valkyrie as the Wing Gundam Zero Endless Waltz version. How good they look though is going to be a matter of taste, because rather than looking like the real-life mobile suits, they look like the characters cosplaying as a suit. Which is why I think that Sparrow as Char is the best looking skin. Also, the backpacks are really small, which is especially notable on machines with like iconic and large backpacks, like the Freedom, the Deadscythe Hell Endless Waltz version, the Destiny, and the Wing Zero Endless Waltz version. Like, is it even really the Wing Zero if it doesn't have its ridiculously over-the-top angel wings? I would say no. Anyways, what it will have is its Buster Rifle, which you can grab from care packages. And then the bit saves from the Ariel will also be added to the game. These can be used either as shields, or they can be set to drone command, causing them to attack enemy players. Plus, there's also new Gundam-inspired wildcards. Epion Slash is a magnetic melee pool, Heavy Arm Salvo marks enemies for air support missile strikes after landing multiple hits, Zero Sacrifice will cause you to do a Hito when you die and blow yourself up, taking out nearby enemies, and Zero Rebirth will do pretty much the exact opposite. When knocked down, players will instead enter the Void, which they then exit with 1 HP, temporary invulnerability, and health regen. All of this can then be used on a reimagined Broken Moon map, which will include a Wing Gundam statue, which you can climb, wrecked mobile suits all over the place, and even ships fighting in the sky above. If you want to check out the full trailer, I will have it linked down below. And overall, the initial reception to this collaboration seems to be really positive, with like 2 small side notes to make here. The first is, I've seen a lot of players lamenting that Apex is set in the same universe as Titanfall, and yet the first kind of mechs they get in the game is a Gundam collaboration instead of the Titans from Titanfall. And the second thing then is that people have pointed out that the Gundam collaboration is reusing animations for the Beam Saber heirloom. And at first, I thought that this was pretty much a nothing burger. It's a reskin of a weapon that exists, so, it is what it is. But apparently, this thing will cost $200? I don't know, anything about Apex or how their monetization works, but assuming that this Beam Saber does cost $200, then I can understand why people would be upset about it reusing animations. If you're paying a pretty damn premium price, you would expect a pretty damn premium product, which does not reuse animations. But that wasn't everything for this collaboration. In addition to a lot of other virtual items you can get, you'll also be able to buy 3 limited edition Apex Legends Gunpla, all of which will go up for pre-order on the 18th. There's the Real Great Freedom Gundam Crypto version, which almost feels like a phase shift down version but with some really cool neo-green accents, the Real Great Wing Gundam Zero Endless Waltz version Valkyrie version, which feels like one of those cross-contrast color kits with its black and orange color scheme, and the Real Great Epion Alter version, which honestly feels more like a Hatsune Miku version. In a good way. More information and details should be coming soon. And we got even more surprising Gundam news in Gundam Battle Operation 2. The Barbs and the Hajiroboshi will be joining the fray both on Steam and on PlayStation. The Barbs is launching this week alongside a VR Operator Orga token pack, and the Hajiroboshi is launching next week. which then definitely makes you wonder what the next alternate universe Gundams could be. And yet another surprise came to us from UC Engage. They've got a Battle Rush EX event, a Total War event, and a new event unit assembly for Gundam Unit 5 Boost version, and Fold Romfellow, a character we of course all know as Fort Romfellow. So I really hope that Fold does not become his new official name, because Fort sounds so much better. For G Generation Eternal then, the big thing was of course the addition of the Gundam Age story missions, which was accompanied by a lot of new units. We went over the big ones last week, but you'll also be able to get the SSRG Stifos from the latest Fierce Enemy Assault event, and the SSR The Gundam from panel missions. And on top of that, there's also new stages and event missions added to the Eternal Road, and they once again reached number 1 in certain regions, giving everyone 3,000 diamonds. And talking about free gifts, last week I said that players got an SSR Kenneth's Leg and 300 diamonds as a celebration gift for Circe, but that was actually the gift from the week before that. Last week, the Circe celebration gift was an SSR Hathaway Noah and 300 diamonds. And finally, we've got Gundam Arsenal Base, where on February 26th, Wave Echo Season 1 went live. The main series included in this new season are G-Quux, Gundam Seed Freedom, and Advance of Zeta. But unfortunately, the flagship cards are the Destiny Gundam Spec 2 and Jin Asuka, the Infinite Justice Type 2 and Athrun Zala, the Gundam G-Quux version and Shuji Ito, and the Elysius and Lane Aim. Here's to hoping that the Advance of Zeta cards are strong enough to be competitive. In other news then, we got the artwork that will be used for the Blu-ray and DVD sets of G-Quux's 3rd volume, and Gundam F91 will be shown at the 3rd Domanaka Anime Film Festival in Aichi. The film festival itself is held from May the 15th until the 21st, and F91 will be shown on the first day. As for the things you could get this week then, we started strong on the 28th with a combination of Gunpla and an action figure. First up, for 5,500 yen, 35 US, there was the Gundam Universe Red Gundam. Usually, I'm not too impressed with the proportions from the Gundam Universe line, but this is one of the few times where I think that the Gundam Universe figure has some of the best proportions around. And that's probably because they made the limbs a bit thicker, making it feel more like a traditional Gundam rather than an Evangelion. As for the accessories, we're getting the Gundam Hammer, a beam rifle, 2 beam sabers with beam saber blade effect parts, a shield, and a variety of hand options. Unfortunately though, no bits included. Next up, for 660 yen for US, is the SD Gundam X Standard Barbs. It comes packing with its signature mace, smoothbore gun, and longsword, plus some not too shabby articulation for a cheap SD kit. And if all of that wasn't enough, it's also touting some high-grade compatibility, although the promotional images don't show us exactly what this compatibility is. And finally, for the 28th, there were 2 sets of premium card collection Gundam Assemble set. They go for 3,850 yen each, 24 US, and are a Gundam card game and Gundam Assemble collaboration set. You can choose between the Iron-Blooded Orphan set or the G-Quux set, and each set comes with 14 predetermined cards, which are 2 sets of 7 different cards, a bonus pack with 5 random cards featuring brand new artwork, and 3 Gundam Assemble figures. For the Iron-Blooded Orphan set, this is the Barb's 4th form, the Grace Custom, and CGS Mobile Workers, and for the G-Quux set, it is the G-Quux Omega Psychomo Active version, Red Gundam, and G-Fred. On the 4th then, you can try out both your luck and your skills to win this Gundam 45th Anniversary x Hatsune Miku Haro plushie. It's got a diameter of 27 centimeters, making it a pretty big thing, and its ears are decorated with Miku's twin tail accessories. And back at home, you can relax to the Hathaway's Flash, the Sorcery of Nymph Circe soundtrack on vinyl. The set comes with 2 vinyls for 8,800 yen, 56 US. And finally, today then, you can again hit the arcades for this Gundam 45th Anniversary x Hatsune Miku Char Zaku Hatsune Miku version prize figure. It's a really cool figure of Miku wearing a Char Zaku onesie, while holding her signature leek. For this week's reading material then, Chapter 5-3 of Frontiers in Glory Days and Chapter 34 of the Battle Tales of Flanagan Boone have become available online for free and are linked down below. Volume 6 of the Battle Tales of Flanagan Boone has also become available as a physical manga, and the Okawara Factory compilation book has been released. This book is a collection of the Okawara Factory segment that was serialized in Gundam Ace starting November 2002. And it deals with a lot of the ways of how Okawara came up with his mecha designs. And it also includes interviews that are done specifically for this book, so definitely something worth getting for the big Okawara fans. For this week's apparel news then, for both Strict G and Bankore, it was all about Circe. Starting with Strict G, in their physical source on the 28th, you could buy a Zai Gundam or Penelope themed Skajan. And as with most of these Skajan, you can also wear them inside out, basically giving you 2 for the price of 1. One side has the main mobile suit in front of some really cool art, whereas the other side is more subdued and simply features the faction in plain text. And on the 7th, you can pair these with a pair of Patrick Marathon sneakers. They go for 23,100 yen, 147 US, and are in the typical Mafty blue and orange color scheme. They also feature a standard Mafty logo on the back and a more elaborate Mafty logo on the tongue, which I believe is specifically made by Patrick for this collaboration. Over at Bankore then, they started fancy too, with some Mafty-inspired jewelry. Slated for a June release, there's a bracelet for 4,950 yen, 31 US, a necklace for 5,500 yen, 35 US, and a keychain for 3,850 yen, 24 US. Already releasing in May then, is what they do best, acrylic stands. This 4th wave of Hathaway's Flash acrylic stands has 8 new designs, with 2 being Hathaway and 6 being Gigi. You can get him as a big acrylic stand for 2,750 yen, 17 US, or as a standard acrylic stand for 1,320 yen, 8 US. But wait, Bankore wasn't the only one releasing some Gundam acrylic stands this week. Made by Plex, you can now pre-order these Gundam Seed Famous Scene acrylic stand sets from standard hobby stores like Hobbling Japan. One set will set you back 2,750 yen, 17 US, and consists of 3 acrylic stands featuring Kira, Athron, Lacus, Gagali, or the Zavd Boys. And that has been all for this week's Gundam news. As always, a big thank you to the Patreon supporters. I hope everyone watching has a great evening, and I'll see you all next week with more Gundam news.